Welcome back to another episode of Mando Talk. This week, we are continuing our top 5 series, and this may be the most important one yet. We are looking at the top 5 movies in all of Star Wars. That includes the Skywalker Saga, Rogue One, Solo, A Star Wars Story, and it could also include the Clone Wars movie. We're going to have a bunch of fun on this week's episode of Mando Talk.
What's up, everybody? We're back. This is Mando Talk. I'm your co-host, Nolan Ferris, and this is Caleb Keller. Alongside us today, we have Brandon Anderson once again and Jacob Keller.
I was going to say, at this point, we're not really guests anymore, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of, what do you call them?
Frequent regulars.
Frequent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say panel members.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Sure.
we're a panel now?
Panel
I
members.
think we're all considered a panel.
Yeah, we're the
man.
panel of Mando
How
Talk.
official.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about
By
to
the way, what's up, all you Ugnos and Jawas out there?
What's
Nice
up,
plug.
everybody?
Nice plug.
Nice of you guys to join us today.
Yeah, hopefully the video works this week.
Yeah, no kidding. So we got a good one for you today. We're doing top 5 series again.
Uh-huh.
We did a poll this week,
Mm-hmm.
and the two options, if you guys didn't see it, it was on all of our social media. We polled you guys to pick what we're going to talk about this week. And the two options for our top 5 series this week were Star Wars movies
Mm-hmm.
and top characters for Star Wars in general.
Yep.
And so I think you can go ahead and tell them what we picked, I guess.
Oh, I mean, it's in the intro, so they know.
And
We're getting into top 5 movies, baby.
Yeah.
And we got it all over.
we set the table.
All
table.
over the table.
We got every single one of them, it seems like, except Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Every single one of them? Yeah, it is. All of them except Revenge of the Sith,
That's strange.
which is strange because I would say that we're going to talk about that movie probably soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would say so too.
Listen, I want to say this, though. I'm excited. I don't know why I feel rejuvenated. I'm just excited to talk about Star Wars tonight.
I am too.
No
Yeah.
rules.
Right on, brother.
No rules here. I mean, we have rules, but, like, no restrictions.
I
We're going to have some fun.
We have
I don't-
rules of common human
I don't
decency.
even have my laptop in front of me tonight
nice.
because I just want to, let loose.
I've got something. I've got a good feeling about tonight. One, because we're not starting it off with any news. No good news or bad news.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like that. Kind of like just focusing on Mando Talk, not
Manda.
Mando Talk, Mando Talk, and letting you guys get to know us a little bit more.
All you
So-
get is us nerf herders jerking around.
Pretty much.
I've never heard that saying before, but
Nerf herders?
no.
It's a Star Wars reference.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are in for a treat.
Come on, guys. All right, so we are doing top 5 movies tonight. I don't even have the rules here. I think it's just come to the point where we list our individual top 5s. We go around the table, the panel. We give our top 5s. We got a point system now where Nolan calculates those numbers for us, and we kind of see which ones add up to the most points, and that helps us base our show's top 5, and then if there are issues, we debate it out toward the end, which we've done the past few times.
And we've talked before this episode that there's probably going to be a lot of debating on this one.
I think
Yeah.
there might be.
I definitely think there will be. I think this is where we differ the most as far as our favorite movies. I think there will be
Possibly.
some. I think there will be a lot of similarities, but the ones that
Come up on
are
top.
that do differ will be very debated
Contentious.
because I feel like we're all very passionate about this top 5.
I think so.
So,
Yeah.
without further ado, like Caleb said, we do have a point system in place.
Yeah, we do.
We're
BA.
going to get to that. I just want to add one thing. For those of you who have been listening for a while, again, we appreciate you tuning in and
Absolutely.
checking us out. Share us to some of your friends. And the reason I bring this up is I have actually watched Solo now. So that's some
Ooh,
news
he
that's,
has seen
that's
Solo.
new.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
not
that
is
discrediting that
news.
I have seen every movie on this table. So my opinion should at least be halfway validated.
So, 1 to 3 words What's your review of Solo? 1 to 3 words only.
Better than The Last Jedi.
No, I was gonna say better than 8, and hoping that everyone knew 8 was episode.
Oh
8.
yeah, I mean that's fair. Good review. I like it. All right, let's get into it. I believe Nolan Ferris is kicking us off.
I'm
this
going
week.
first. So
Top 5 movies. Let's get to it.
my number 5 movie, and I say that it might rank a little higher on somebody else's list, but I liked this movie because the CGI was cool.
Mm-hmm.
The effects were cool, which they dumped a lot of money into this movie. But my number 5 is The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, I like that
Solid.
pick.
Elaborate on the cool part. Like, what are some things? No, I'm not. I'm not trying to bash him. I'm just cool.
No, listen. Anytime a sequel pops up, that's what BA is going to say. Elaborate on the good part of that.
So,
film.
There's actually some on my list.
So of the sequels, this one, and I'm ranking the movies as total, but the rest of my picks you can't deny them just because they set the standard.
Okay.
Anyways, but for this movie, this pick,
Uh-huh.
for one, I liked it was cram packed and everything, but I liked the way it wrapped everything up.
Cram packed, crap
Action.
stacked packed.
Action packed, lots of lightsaber battles, and it was. I liked this movie, and I liked the way everything looked. I liked the feel of it. I liked the desperateness
Mm-hmm.
of it, and I think it tied together the sequel trilogy as best it could.
Jinx, man.
Yeah.
So,
Jinx.
I feel that.
and like I said, the CGI in this
Mm-hmm.
remarkable.
Yeah.
The special effects in this when he rains down lightning, it's outstanding. So
That is pretty cool.
I visually, this one is mostly visually is why it's right there, but it is the story and it wrapping the whole saga, the Skywalker saga up,
Right.
is why it's number 5 for me. So
I respect that.
Oh
pick.
yeah. You know, I just thought that visually, that's one thing that I like about the sequels.
yes, yeah. Well, and you get that with technology just being more advanced nowadays.
True.
So
I mean, you can even tell the difference between 2005 Revenge of the Sith versus now. I
Yes.
mean, and that's what 10 years between Revenge of the Sith
and
and
The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens almost. So,
Yeah.
pretty impressive stuff.
So, Rise of Skywalker, number 5 for me. Caleb Keller,
Yes, sir.
give us your number 5 top Star Wars film.
Let me look at my hand here. Number 5 for me is The Force Awakens.
Oh,
Okay, so I like your pick for Rise of Skywalker, but I had to put Force Awakens in it as kind of above it for sequels for me, because I feel like of all of the movies in the sequels, it's the only one that really flows perfectly. I feel like The Last Jedi, obviously there's some issues with story-wise for me that I just didn't quite like. And then I felt like Rise of Skywalker, yes, it's jam-packed and it's super fun to watch, but it is kind of choppy just because it's trying to fit as much in there as possible. So just kind of as a film from top to bottom, I felt like The Force Awakens was better quality. And it also, I mean, Star Wars, I've said this before, it brought Star Wars back. It made it relevant. People were psyched after The Force Awakens, and the
that's true.
fan
Yes,
base
that's very
was
true.
the fan base was actually on board with each other at that point up until The Last Jedi came out. But regardless, I mean, Star Wars was buzzing, and it made me feel like a kid again. So that feeling,
Yeah.
and I know we're judging movies here, but that feeling that The Force Awakens gave me as soon as I heard that opening crawl and Star Wars was back in theater, I don't think.
well, it's
that'll
like
ever
you
be
said.
beat.
It was 10 years since we had seen Star Wars in theater. So
Yeah.
to have it back, it's kind of gives you that nostalgia feel
No doubt.
of your
And-
childhood. So.
And I think you've touched on this before, and it might have been during our top 5 heroes, possibly. Of all the sequels and of all of the original trilogy heroes, I felt like Han was the best. like represented. And I know that he goes through stuff and he separates from Leia, which sucks, but Harrison Ford's performance in The Force Awakens bumped Han Solo into my ultimate number one forever and always, at least for now. I say forever and always, but who knows? It could be Din Djarin, the child. Who knows one day?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't say enough positive things about The Force Awakens. So that is why The Force Awakens is my number 5.
Force Awakens. Okay, BA, what's your number 5?
Well, I'll cut all the tricks and everything out of it, and I'll just jump straight to the point. Mine's also The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Attaboy.
And so Keller touched on a lot of the things I wanted to say, but one thing is, like he mentioned a little bit too, it brought in like this new generation of fans that
Absolutely.
May have missed out on obviously the original and as well as the prequels, but they got introduced to these characters who at first, I was very, invested in. They were all unique characters. They all had, unique differences from things that we had seen before on screen.
Yeah.
So for me, and again, like Keller said, just seeing it in movie theaters again, it brought back that, childlike awe and wonder of seeing that scroll. So
Definitely. Man.
Yeah, I agree with that. The thing I guess that I chose over The Force Awakens is just for fan service.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, if you're a longtime listener, you know that I'm a huge fan of fan service. I will like to see the stuff that I like to see, and that's the Force and lightsabers.
Yeah.
So there is more
That's
of
fair.
that in The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, definitely.
And just, I mean, yeah, it gives me chills more than The Force Awakens did.
That's actually a very fair point. I think,
And that's what I like in a movie. I like to be surprised, and I like to sometimes almost cry.
I
And-
cried.
And you get that in both, but this one the Rise of Skywalker, it's
It punches you.
yeah,
All right.
several times right in the gut.
All right, Jacob.
Jacob.
Round up our number 5 selections.
Man, I gotta say, first that my list for Star Wars movies, ranking them in my favorite, is constantly changing
Yeah,
based on how I feel
100%.
at the current time.
This might
That is
change
true.
next week.
That is very true. That is very true.
We should have threw that disclaimer out at the beginning.
right. So
Warning.
this
The
is
product
really
you're about
hard.
to-
This is really hard trying to arrange things. So I really want to
Yeah.
say 2 movies that I want to put in 5.
I was the same way.
Is that? Can I say
Your
that?
discretion is
No.
advised.
We'll mention
Okay.
honorable mentions maybe toward the end, or we could have went ahead and said it, but I didn't want to say something that was on somebody else's
yeah.
list. So just
All
say
right,
your one.
Then I have
your
to make a
one movie.
choice. All right, I'm gonna choose The Phantom Menace as my number 5.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna hum that, and you're gonna explain.
Okay. Well, you get this view of the Republic and the galactic state of affairs before the Clone Wars and before everything goes down.
Mm-hmm.
You see the Jedi as they were peacekeepers before they became warriors, right? And man, you see Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, they're the first Jedi you see in that movie. They're there within the first 3 minutes, I think.
Right? No, they're there immediately.
Mm-hmm. And they're on a diplomatic mission on behalf of the Republic.
Yeah.
And trying to keep peace between the Trade Federation and Naboo. And I don't know, man. I remember watching that movie as a kid, and it does. That movie brings back a lot of nostalgia to me.
It does.
And people can make fun of Jar Jar, but, I can look at him today and, I actually really appreciate that character more now.
I kind of agree with that.
That character, I know it sounds weird, but it reminds me of Scooby-Doo. and this is why, because, in all the Scooby-Doos, you see him mess something up, but it works out to their advantage where they can capture the criminals.
Right.
That's Jar Jar.
Yeah.
He messes up, but it eventually helps them succeed in their mission.
Yeah, I see that.
And so...
So yeah, and then you
he's one of those
see,
characters.
you see the beginnings of Sidious's grand plan starting to unfold.
Yes.
You witness that, and we know what's happening. We know what's coming, but the characters that we're watching don't. In
And I
that
think
way,
that's what makes it good,
It's a
too.
tragic irony, right? And we meet Anakin. You know, he's just a slave kid on Tatooine.
Yeah.
And at the close of the movie, we know that he's headed toward a great thing. You know.
He is.
And then you got the lightsaber duel, right?
Absolutely. Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
Come on. That's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very hard to beat.
That's the
Pod
start of
racing, that's
Darth
another
Maul's
really
career.
cool thing.
Yeah, and so pod racing, I feel like it's a 50-50 thing. I feel like the people that grew up on the originals, it looked cool, yes, but I feel like I've heard noise of people say it took too much of the movie. But I feel like people our age,
Well,
were
I like it.
Oh crap, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Especially
that
if you know
scene.
if you know what the boost key is.
Anyway, yeah, I love the pod racing scene. Sorry, inside joke
So
for
yeah,
here.
inside
at
joke.
Mando
We've got
Talk.
a one of the old old pod racing
Yeah,
video.
episode 1 racer.
Yeah. So yeah, Keller was whooping our tails because he knew all the keys and we didn't.
Whatever. Whatever. All right, Jacob, anything else you want to say about Phantom Menace?
That's my number 5.
All right, man.
I love it.
That is a very, very good choice. And yeah. We'll get back to that one.
Let's get into number 4s.
Oh, that's me.
He's just looking at me like, okay, let's do
Okay.
it.
Number 4,
Oh.
Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
It's gonna fall.
Return of
I'm
the
using
Jedi.
the Force to keep it standing. All right, I like that pick. He's writing.
No reason. You could write it after.
So, Return of the Jedi, the reason I liked it is because we get... This one is really the... When I think of Han Solo, I think of this movie.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I know it's interesting and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think of, first of all, Princess Leia. Slave
sure,
Leia.
Sure, of
Yeah.
course.
And then, you've got the Hutts, and you see Boba Fett come back, which is awesome.
For a short time, yeah.
For a short time, yeah. And then he, dies.
Quote unquote.
Yeah. I don't know. Return of the Jedi is one of those classics that you can't deny. And I'm sure we'll hear more about it, but for me, I don't know. It's not number 3, but it's number 4. It's hard to explain because
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to explain the next 2,
Uh-huh.
and because they're all so close together
Mm-hmm. I understand
for
that.
me.
Okay. All right. Let me help you out.
Okay.
My number 4 is Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So, a couple of reasons why it didn't go up, and I think I am going to hold off on explaining why it wasn't further. But kind of like Nolan said, a lot of these I could stack up side by side with each other. But with
Absolutely.
Return of the Jedi, see, for me personally, I felt like Han Solo didn't have as much to do in Return of the Jedi, and I know that he ends up helping.
He's the whole movie, pretty like. Well, it's based around him because they're all trying to free him.
At the beginning, yeah. But then
Yeah.
after that, it kind of becomes Luke's story, which is fine because it is the Skywalker saga.
Right.
I completely get that. But yeah, Han, for me, I always thought he did less in this one, and it's just because in Empire Strikes Back, I felt like Han was big. Like, they're focused in on Han and Leia's relationship throughout that film.
That's true.
And but Luke's finale in Return of the Jedi is completely epic. I mean, that battle
Right.
between Luke and Vader, incredible. We see the original conclusion of the Skywalker saga where everything's wrapped up perfectly in a bow. Return of the Jedi pulls that off. And
Yep.
I truly believe that Return of the Jedi for a long time there was an example of how you should conclude any type of film trilogy. And I know kind of recently the sequels, probably people don't feel like Rise of Skywalker finished that off as well. But I feel like ROTJ is the original kind of finisher, the finale for anything out there, and Star Wars included. So that's why Return of the Jedi was my number 4. It was tough putting it at number 4, honestly, again, like Nolan said. But a lot of cool scenes. I mean, we get the Ewoks. I love the Ewoks.
Exactly.
We get to see the what are they called? The Scout Troopers. Scout Troopers, sorry. We get to see those for the first time. Lando's got more heroic things to do in Return of the Jedi, which is super cool. And Jabba, the whole Tatooine stuff with Jabba at the very beginning, cool. And I know that the special edition with the singing alien kind of throws me off. That part, but hey, I still love Return of the Jedi. I'll stop talking. Return of the Jedi is my number 4.
Yeah, what he said. I mean, you said it in a better way, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
It's I like the Tatooine scenes, and yeah. The scene at the end where you've got all the Force ghosts coming back. It is the finale, the original finale.
Right.
I know that's they added Anakin later, but
Hayden
that's
Christensen,
that's how this last finale should have ended too with Force Ghosts, but
fair
we didn't
point.
get that.
All right, BA, number 4.
So my number 4 has already been mentioned as well, and it is the Phantom Menace.
Nice.
And while you were playing with the VHS tape, I saw 3 of the main reasons why this is my favorite on the back cover.
Okay.
1 is pod racing.
Nice.
Yeah.
2 is the fight scene.
Yes.
Duel of the Fates playing in the background. Great score.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jar Jar Binks. And again, we've talked about why some people don't like him, some people like him. He's just the goofball. And I think for a lot of people watching these movies, they could kind of relate to that. Maybe you messed up a whole lot, but, you still get to tag along and have fun. So
fair point.
So I'll keep it short. Like I said, it's a lot of the stuff Jacob already said. But
no, I get that.
Yeah,
It's a very
right on.
nostalgic movie.
Like that pick. All right, Jacob, keep us rolling. Number 4.
I always
My
thought
number 4.
Darth Maul was the coolest person ever. 'cause
Yeah.
he had 2 lightsabers.
I did too.
Like
No
I'd go
doubt.
pick up sticks and just twirl them around.
My number 4 is The Force Awakens.
I love it.
And I gotta say, somebody already touched on why. Who was that?
That was me.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah.
And
And
I gotta
BA
say,
had it. BA had it at number 5
okay,
too.
yeah. I gotta say, it was one of, like, when I went to watch it in theater, like, that was such an awesome experience.
I
love that.
I think I've said this on air
experience.
before. I don't know. Me and Jacob went to see the movie together,
Mm-hmm.
and the first time he sees it, the crawl hits, and all I hear is Jacob go like this. I thought that was hilarious.
I believe it.
I'll never forget that.
No, I mean, I just felt so happy seeing those yellow letters scrolling up the screen again,
Yeah, I know.
receding off into space.
We're such nerds, but man,
that's wild, don't you think? Just like you said, it's just yellow words.
it's
moving
yellow
on a black
words,
screen.
and
Yeah.
people go ballistic.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's power of Star Wars.
Yep.
The power
And,
of Star
it
Wars.
was a fresh start. We were getting a new story, a new part of Star Wars, and, the whole story in The Force Awakens makes sense.
Exactly.
And it wrapped up perfectly, and it was awesome.
It was.
And, yeah, that's why it's in my number 4.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. We are ready for our top 3s, baby.
You ready for this one?
Listen,
This is gonna not go over smooth.
when you say your pick, go ahead and explain it, and don't give us like a 10 seconds there where you're like, let me write this down first.
Yeah. Write them down once it's Keller's turn.
Okay. Whatever.
No, I mean, it's just like the suspense was killing me. I was like, okay, what's he going to say about it?
Okay. So my number
If you
3.
say The Last Jedi, no joke, I'll leave.
He's leaving then. Nah, I don't know.
Yeah, this one's gonna make somebody mad
Oh.
that it's this low.
Oh.
You're like,
Oh, here
no.
we go.
So my number 3 is Star Wars:
A New Hope. Okay.
A New Hope, and the reason why it's at number 3 is sort of similar to Return of the Jedi as far as it. For me, it belongs there. It's but the reason I like it so much is because it was the beginning of Star Wars, and you got it starts out in chaos. You know, with everything going on, the rebellion starting and everything, the Death Star. And then, you know, it slows down and goes to Tatooine with Luke. And then it takes a young farmer boy and makes him into something great.
Right.
Which, for me, that's what all these movies really are.
Absolutely.
It takes a non-special person and makes them into something great. And that is why I picked A New Hope.
Okay. My number 3.
And it's awesome.
You ready for my number 3?
Star Wars.
A New Hope, baby.
Did you guys cheat off each other? That's what
Again?
it sounded like.
Okay, I'll say this just to piggyback off. Death Star, I mean, again, it's the first film for me.
It's hard to explain.
It's just Star Wars.
Yes,
I mean,
it
it's the
is
first
Star
one.
Wars.
Yeah.
And like you said, the hero's journey that Luke goes on, I mean, that's storytelling. And I know the hero's journey is kind of like a storytelling piece that I'm pretty sure filmmakers study when they go to college to study be a filmmaker.
They study
So
Star Wars.
I get that the hero's journey is used before and that George Lucas uses it here just in sci-fi land. But it's executed so beautifully.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the music, too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
John Williams, the Twin Sons music kills.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those movies.
You got Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
And we don't really learn much about that character.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we learn more about Obi-Wan in the prequels.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where I fell in love with that character.
Yeah.
But Ben Kenobi and all his wisdom.
Right.
And you sit there and when you watch that one and you don't think about the prequels, you wonder what he's been through.
Yeah.
Because he obviously knows more than he tells.
Mm-hmm.
And it leaves you wondering. And that's kind of, I don't know, it's just.
It's interesting.
I wish I could have watched it before watching the other one. Like, I wish I could have watched it when it came out.
Yeah. I think the first Star Wars movie that I remember is A New Hope. Seeing.
Really?
Yeah. So I was able to do that.
The first one I remember is, we'll get to that.
Okay. But yeah, again, Star Wars A New Hope is just Star Wars in a nutshell. It kicked it all off. A beautiful film from top to bottom. And it's one of those movies, too, that if they hadn't made any more, it would have been perfect. I mean, it's got a great ending to it as well. So A New Hope is my number 3.
Can I just say that I love all the character interactions in that movie, too.
And the way they introduce every single one of those characters, too, is perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Darth Vader's introduction.
Absolutely.
But I mean, like, the interaction between R2 and C-3PO.
Oh, yeah.
In that scene, one of the first, where they're in the desert and they're already arguing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like
that's
you can
perfect.
you can tell that they've been with each other for so
Yeah.
long,
long
but yet we
time.
still didn't see it at that point.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And then you get
Brilliant storytelling.
right.
You learn the characters before they say much at all.
Yeah.
Like, you learn that they've got a in-depth relationship with each other.
Well, yeah.
And this is how they interact with each other. And
I mean, immediately when Obi-Wan's explaining to Luke how he got that lightsaber, things of that nature, whenever he's giving him that lightsaber, he's like, I fought with your father during the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And people are like, Clone Wars? What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
So, yeah, I mean, it was perfect. Perfect setup for the galaxy far, far away.
And then interaction of Han and Chewie and interaction of Grand Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader.
Yep.
It's just,
It's classic.
it's a classic, yep.
All right, BA, keep us going.
yeah,
Top
that's
3.
the introduction to Tarkin, too. Yeah.
Yeah. Top 3.
So my
Number
number
3.
my number 3's steering a little bit away from the, I guess, 9 Skywalker saga movies.
Okay.
And so my number 3 is Rogue One.
I like it.
And so
Man.
again, with the original trilogy, great movies, right? But when you go back and look at them, you see that, you know, and there's something to be said because I love older movies too, and that and that feel. Rogue One was able to get, you know, around that same time period in the Star Wars universe, but with the like cutting edge, like technology had risen so much from when what were they in the 80s?
77, 80s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I forget, it was like 2000 and
5 for Revenge of the Sith?
no, Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One. Oh, that was 2016.
Okay. Yeah. So again,
think.
there was that. There's a whole
2016.
lot of time that has passed, and again, I think I talked about it last week when we were talking about Heroes, or the week before.
Last week was villains.
So the week before,
Heroes,
where we see the Death Star rise over on that planet, that solidified this movie for me in the top 5.
That was pretty cool.
Because I got chills when I saw that.
And let's
Plus the double
talk about that ending too.
I was about to say to double down to make it even solidify it even further is when the doors open and Darth Vader's there.
And
I
that
like how you get the on-planet perspective of
the Death Star.
Yes.
hidden.
Mm-hmm.
that's
that wasn't even its
very
full
awesome.
potential too.
Exactly.
So imagine it blowing up Alderaan the way it does in A New. We didn't even talk about that when we were talking about A New Hope. I mean, the technology in '77 to blow up a planet.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, Rogue One. That ending with
Well,
Vader in
they
the
didn't
hallway.
really do it, Caleb. They didn't blow up a planet.
They sure did.
but it,
blew up a planet in '77. we put a man on the moon in '69.
but again, I want to double
That's a
back.
space station.
I want to double back so people don't think that I hate the original trilogy. It still, when you watch it, you're like, man, they just blew up a planet. Like you don't question how they had to go about doing these kind of
Right,
things.
right.
So I mean, they still stand up. But yeah,
That's
why-
another
no,
thing
I
I was gonna
respect
say.
that Rogue One
Yeah.
pick like crazy.
That's one
Yeah.
thing that I was going to say about A New Hope and Return of the Jedi that I had forgotten about. The technology that they had to work with back then compared to the movies now,
Yeah.
but just their creativeness
Right.
while doing it.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
they still hold up today. That's what's impressive.
Exactly. They're still, I mean, you can definitely tell the differences, but just what they had to deal with
Yeah.
and what they did it with is awesome. You know, you see the behind the scenes of them with the models and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's art.
Oh yeah,
That's art.
absolutely it
And
is.
so, and it's a high quality art.
It is.
So that's one of the reasons why, the older movies are just,
hard to beat.
well, they're just amazing to me
Yeah.
that they were able to do that and they put that much
Mhm.
detail and work into those. And like you said, they still hold up today.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
So,
Before we move on from BA's number 3, I do want to say that Rogue One was my honorable mention.
Me too.
I really
Me
wanted.
too.
I really wanted to put it in there so badly
I did
because it
too.
is such a good movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not slack you whatsoever for putting it at number 3. I
Nah.
mean, it's very deserving.
Mhm.
So, props on Rogue One. I love that movie.
somebody had to go out for it. I did.
I'm glad
Really
you did.
enjoyed it.
No, I really am glad
I'm
you
glad
did.
we mentioned it for sure.
Rogue One was a really good one.
It was.
Jacob, number 3.
My number 3 is Empire Strikes Back, and it's like we keep talking about. It's another one of them classics.
Yes, it
But
is.
you see, man, like I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, honestly, why this
Yeah.
one's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, you get
It's so hard to explain. That's the thing.
I mean, just look at the poster.
It's Empire
know.
Strikes. Here's the explanation. It's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. I mean, Hoth, it's an ice planet.
Yeah,
It's freaking awesome.
it is.
Well, I mean, Luke, Han, and Leia, and Chewie, and C-3PO and R2-D2, they're all full on with the rebellion,
Right.
and then the Empire is full on hunting them down the whole movie,
yeah.
and just that dynamic alone of
And at the beginning, Han's dipping his toe in. He's like, do I want to
Yeah,
stay?
yeah.
Do I want to go?
and just that hide and seek between those two, the whole movie,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then the final. Ooh, man. The final confrontation
Oh,
between Luke and Vader.
That's one of the most iconic
Yeah.
film moments in history.
Yeah.
Even
Join
people
me.
people that haven't seen Star Wars know that scene.
Yeah.
That's extremely impressive.
Yep.
So yeah, yeah. You have anything else to say about that number 3 pick?
It's just a good movie.
It is.
One of my favorites.
All right, let's get into our top 2. Nolan, number 2.
We just discussed it all. Yeah, Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
I love the scenes on Hoth. I know it doesn't last long, but I had a video game on GameCube, and I cannot remember what it was called, but you were on Hoth and you were flying the little fighters, and you had to take down the AT-ATs. And that was the hardest thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had to, rappel up there, throw the grenade or whatever in there. Yeah. That was the hardest mission.
Dude,
and
I gotta tell you, it was just as hard on Battlefront to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's hard on every game they try to put it in.
Well, I guess just a Jedi can do it. But
yeah.
for me, this is the film I remember most.
Yeah.
As a child.
Ooh,
oh, okay.
And you
I
find
see what
like
you're saying
you
now.
find
like, you know how
Yoda,
yours was
Yeah.
and
A
you
New
hear. What were you saying?
Jacob got
My
so
bad.
I was
excited.
just saying, like, you know how yours, you remember A New Hope from your childhood. That one was the first one I
that you
remember
remember.
watching.
Now, let me ask you this.
And like you said, Luke goes off and trains with Yoda and everything.
Let me ask you this, yes or no?
I can be a backpack
As a
warrior.
kid, as a kid, yes or no, the I Am Your Father scene stuck with you the most? Yes
Yeah.
or no? I
No,
figured.
yeah. And everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that line. Is like you said, you can't, like when you talk about Star Wars, they know three things.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader,
Yep.
Skywalker.
Yep.
They don't know anything about Skywalkers, but they know something about Skywalker.
Right.
And they know, I am your father. Luke, I am your father.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like to a non-Star Wars fan. So it's very, very iconic line.
Absolutely.
Even though people say it wrong.
Yeah.
So.
yeah. I
But
can't
yeah,
disagree with any
that's
of
the
that.
one I remember most watching as a kid.
Yes.
As my first Star Wars.
All right. That's a good one to remember
And,
first.
and this movie, the Empire Strikes Back, was really the first movie that people got a look into the Force side of Star Wars.
Right.
When Yoda showed up and started talking to Luke about his wisdom over things.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
And
how
then
you see Luke talking to Ben through the Force and everything.
Right.
And he becomes a Force ghost.
Right.
And so, yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Uh-huh.
Because in A New Hope, he's alive for most of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah. I definitely see what
And
you're saying.
then on the
there.
other side, you see Darth Vader talking to, for the first time, the man behind it all.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep. Palpatine. Yep.
Man.
All right.
Yes.
My number 2. Revenge of the Sith. I would say this. Revenge of the Sith is probably the movie that I've watched the most of any Star Wars film. I think it's the most quotable. It's the most action-packed. It has the best lightsaber scenes from top to bottom. I mean, you can make an argument that there are lightsaber battles that are better, but overall, as far as one work having collectively the best lightsaber action, Revenge of the Sith takes it all the way for me. Anakin, finally, for the prequels, I know Anakin, for me, the portrayal of him was always kind of iffy, but I felt like Revenge of the Sith, Hayden Christensen crushed Anakin Skywalker. I felt like he actually did really good job with that character in that movie. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, man. Ewan McGregor in that film with the I Am Your Brother. I mean, behind I Am Your Father from Empire Strikes Back, that one sticks with me, number 1. But number 2 is You Were My Brother, Anakin. And I get chills. I get emotional every single time that I hear that and I see it. And when that music hits, the Anakin Dark Deeds track, when that hits, I'm emotional immediately. I mean, and I know Revenge of the Sith has some things that are goofy, like the droids that talk to R2-D2 at the very beginning of the film. And I know last week me and Jacob were ragging on General Grievous for being just there for a joke, basically. But, man, Revenge of the Sith, incredible film. And to say this, Jacob mentioned earlier that these things change. There are some days when I wake up and I'm like, is Revenge of the Sith my all-time favorite Star Wars film? I enjoy it that much. And it seems like I keep enjoying it the more and more as life goes on. So, again, one of those that I could make an argument for number one, but just couldn't quite get there, at least not yet at this point in my life. BA, take it away
I like
for
it
number
too.
two.
So number 2 is, I'll keep it brief because, again, you guys are all taking mine. But it's Empire Strikes Back. And, again, echoing the reasons real quick, the scene where, the Darth Vader's reveal that he's Luke's father, again, classic.
Yeah,
We see Luke train, and so, yeah. It's
absolutely.
up there. And I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about it later, but I don't want to step on any of that.
Jacob, number two.
My number 2 is Return of the Jedi. And primarily the reason why I chose this as my number 2 is because it wraps up the whole redemption story of Skywalkers.
Very
right?
true. Yeah.
And you get all that action. You get, what everyone else touched on here.
Yeah.
Starting in Tatooine and ending all the way on Endor and the Death Star too.
Right.
And you get, the climactic battle between good and evil come to a close. And that's why it's my number 2.
I like it. All right, Nolan. Number one, baby. Let's get to it. Let's get down and sweaty. We already
I
know what
almost
it
checked
is.
my nose. So if you're a longtime listener, then you already know this one. And he pretty much just covered pretty much everything. Revenge of the Sith.
Can I go ahead and speed this up?
Yeah, say it.
That's my number 1,
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Jacob.
Yes, it's my number 1.
Nice. All right, so then to just speed this up, because you know what mine is. Number 1 for me is Empire Strikes Back. And I know y'all have touched on it. Stole my thunder because I thought I was going to have a chance to say it. The Force would not be what we think it is without Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yeah.
Empire Strikes Back is what created this mythical story that we now have today. If it wasn't for Empire, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about a podcast over Star Wars, honestly. For me, at least. So, yeah. And we've touched on Empire. We've touched on why Revenge of the Sith is incredible. We've touched on Empire. We've talked about all of these incredible films. So, yeah, I'm very happy with all of our lists, honestly. And I know BA's really happy that The Last Jedi wasn't in anyone's.
I did have something I want to just ask the table while
Yeah.
Nolan's doing some math
Yeah,
over
he's
there.
calculating some numbers.
So, when you guys have kids someday, if you have kids, what order would you show them these movies in?
I would go release order. Release order.
Okay.
So I would go originals first, then prequels, then sequels, and then I would show them Solo and Rogue One.
What about you, Jacob?
I might do the same, just because that's the way that me and Caleb watched them.
Yeah.
See, for me, I feel like that reveal of Luke and Darth Vader is just too good.
Too good to take away
Yes. Too
good to
from
tarnish.
somebody.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I
I agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, as Nolan is crushing the numbers, let us know what you think about our top 5 movies lists. Okay, Nolan's, myself's, Jacob's, BA's. Let us know who had the best list first, and then also let us know what your top 5 movies are. And for me personally, I don't care if The Last Jedi is in your list or not. I don't think there's a wrong answer to this. As long as you love Star Wars, then you're my kind of person. So I know BA's probably like, no, I don't really like Last Jedi.
The Last
lovers.
Jedi, I want to see facts. I want to see cold, hard facts as to why.
Okay,
Sway me.
that's fair. That's very fair. So again, you can find us on social medias at Mando Talk, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and keep having fun with us. And hopefully Nolan's got some numbers ran, because I'm starting to run out of things to say.
Well, I was-
over there.
Well, dang it. I was about to say something.
All right,
But
then you forgot it.
yeah. No, I thought it was interesting that you said that the older you get, the more you feel like Revenge of the Sith might become your favorite.
Well,
And now here I am, probably like a year older since last time I said that Return of the Jedi
yeah,
was my favorite.
right.
So I just think that's interesting.
Yeah, and the first time that you came on the show, you said Return of the Jedi was your
Right,
favorite. And
exactly.
you actually said that you were debating between Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back at the time. because I remember you saying that, and I was like, he's finally on board with my favorite movie. So that, yeah. And again, my list changes all the time.
Yeah.
Except I will say, consistently, Empire has always been one.
Mm-hmm.
But it is getting to a point where I can hear and understand people's arguments for Revenge of the Sith with
I think
its
it's
flaws.
just because you see that story of this man falling,
Mm-hmm.
and, without that happening, there wouldn't really be the story behind the original trilogy. But more than that, that's just something that I feel like, I feel like is relatable to being, an imperfect human. And, it's just such a impactful story.
It is.
Just just in that general sense.
Right. All right, Nolan, you got the numbers for us. So let's announce Mando Talk's top 5 currently until debates happen, if they happen.
I don't think it will.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about the way the numbers came out.
Because we hyped up that we were going to debate. I don't even know if we will or not.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can. I'll say this. Nobody had a perfect list.
Good.
That's
I like
obvious.
it that way.
Number 2, everybody had something that didn't get picked.
Nice.
Okay.
Except for you.
Me?
All yours are in the show's top 5.
Nice.
Basic.
And yeah, so the show, as the numbers stand right now, Revenge of the Sith comes in at number 1.
Okay.
Empire Strikes Back comes in at number 2.
All right.
Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
A New Hope.
Okay.
And The Force Awakens.
Nice. I like it. I like that list a lot. I mean, the numbers speak for Revenge of the Sith, so I can't really make an argument for Empire.
The numbers are Revenge at 19, Empire at 16, Return of the Jedi at 8. You have a big drop right there because somebody didn't have it. I think 2 of you didn't have it. Or no. Let's see.
I had Return of the Jedi.
Jacob had
B.A.
it.
didn't have
B.A. didn't have
That's
it in
what
there.
hurt it.
Yeah.
Oh.
A New Hope. Only 2 of us had it in there. Me
Oh,
and Caleb.
interesting.
It is
Jacob-
worthy, though.
Jacob didn't have it in there, and
No.
Brandon didn't have it
But
in his top 5.
it's so worthy.
It is.
Force
I would
Awakens?
actually consider replacing The Force Awakens with A New Hope.
What do you
on
want
my
to put?
list.
What do you want to put?
Oh,
at
on
number
your
4?
list.
Yeah.
A New Hope isn't. He's saying on his own personal.
Yeah,
I
on my
gotcha.
own personal.
A New Hope is on our list for the show.
Yeah.
I don't have any pushback with that list.
I
Personally, I think the
I
numbers.
don't
So,
think I do.
Here's
I think
what
the numbers speak for
here's
themselves.
what didn't make it. Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, I think
I
that's
think we
fair.
can agree that's not
Okay.
in there.
Okay.
Let's see.
And Rogue One
Rogue One didn't make it. And
Phantom Menace.
and
the
Phantom
Phantom
Menace.
Menace. Yeah. I was wondering. I was like, what is that? Yeah. The Phantom Menace, Rise of Skywalker, and Rogue One
Got close,
didn't make it.
but didn't make it.
But out of all the movies, what didn't make it into the top 5? So in the prequels, we've got the Clone Wars didn't make it. Phantom Menace didn't make it.
And Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
So the Clone Wars animated movie.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace,
Clone Wars movie.
Clone Wars movie, Solo,
Mm-hmm.
Rogue One, The Force, and The Last
Last
Jedi,
Jedi.
and Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. All the originals, The Force Awakens,
Everything that
and
surrounds
Revenge of the Sith.
everything that surrounds the originals too.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The middle movies.
All right. Read
3,
off
4, 5, 6, 7.
Read off our top 5 again, and we'll kind of wrap her up there so we can remind. Unless people got pushback with it, because I'm good with the list. BA, you good with the list?
I thought it was gonna be a lot worse.
I don't. Yeah. I'm good with it though.
I feel comfortable with
Yeah.
that list.
Me too. BA.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's good.
All right.
I mean, you're the one that always has.
No, I mean,
All right, Nolan, read off the list from
Okay.
5 up to 1, and then we'll send
From
the show off.
5 to 1, this is the list. Mando Talks top 5 Star Wars films. The Force Awakens. A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and Revenge of the Sith. We have spoken.